Hi guys, how are you doing? Hoping you're doing well. Welcome back to Chat with Therapist New Coffee. If this is your first time coming across this channel, I hope you'll enjoy the content here, and you can support the channel by subscribing. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Today's video, we're going to be talking about my favorite part of my job, and that's dealing with teenagers. And today's video, we are going to be talking about effective communication strategies with your teenager. So if you're a parent, if you're an older sibling, you are an auntie, this video is for you. Why dealing with teenagers is my favorite part of my job is because I was a teenager just the other day. So I find that I relate to the things that they go through or they are going through very easily, and I am able to understand their point of view, and we are able to understand each other even in therapy, and we get to the goals of the sessions very easily. I could go on and on about why dealing with teenagers is my favorite part of my job. So let's get right into the video. So understanding where a teenager is coming from can be hard because this group of people do not communicate that easily. They are not as open-minded as we would like them to be. They're at the stage of life where they're feeling like, I am an adult, I should be making my own decisions. Why do you want to dictate on what I should be doing? Not knowing what lies ahead. Life is more greater than where they are seeing things from currently. So how do you effectively deal with someone who feels like they are always right? They should not be corrected. You should let them do what they want at the time they want without questioning them. What else do teenagers do? They are very defiant. They do not want to understand anything else other than what they claim is their truth, So how do you deal with them? How do you effectively get to communicate with this person to pass down a message that you feel as a guardian, as a parent, as an older sibling, as an interested party is important for them to understand? Number one is establish honest and open communication with them. And how do you do this, you may ask? The first way to do this is create a safe space by identifying a place and time where you can have a conversation with them without distraction, because the minute you are distracted when having a conversation with a teenager, you have lost them, and you will also lose your line of thoughts, and you will end up kuwagombanisha when you wanted to just have an open communication with them. You just wanted to have a chat with your daughter, with your son, but then you were distracted, something else came up, and then the line of thoughts that you had changed. I know you can no longer have that discussion in the tone that you wanted to. So create a safe space, and then actively listen to what they are saying. What are their tone? What are their choice of words? What is their body language? How are they responding to what you are saying? What are you picking on their thought process on whatever they are saying? Another thing is validate their feelings. This group of people is actually hard to validate their feelings in as much as I'm saying validate their feelings, but identify the feelings of what they are saying, acknowledge them, tell them that you respect them in as much as you do not agree with their point of view, and then now introduce your correction after you have validated whatever they have said. This is someone who has told you, I want to get into a relationship, and they are 13, they are 14, they are 15. So validate that first. Tell them, okay, you want to get into a relationship. What is pushing you to want to get into a relationship? Then they will tell you, and then validate that. Then you tell them, you bring up now the but factor. Get into a relationship in this early stage is going to bring you 1, 2, 3. We're going to get into relationships a bit later. And then the last thing is be approachable. And this should have been the first thing that I started this topic with. How do you create approachability with a teenager? Number one, show genuine interest in the things that they are doing, and not from a correcting point of view, not from a parent point of view, from a friend's point of view. What have you been doing? How was your day? What did you do today? How is school? How is your friend Fulani? Ask about their friends. Ask about the things that they are doing in their lives. Then you have created the first step in being approachable. Because when you're asking about them is when they will be like, by the way, and my friend said, by the way, I am thinking about dropping this subject in school. By the way, today on social media, I saw this, mom. Do you think it's right? Do you, instead of them going to ask their fellow teen, instead of them asking this from a stranger, from someone who's not educated on their matter, they will ask you as their guardian, as their parent. So be approachable. Not every time when your child is bringing something to you, when your teen is trying to ask you about something, you already have a judgment on it, you've already drawn a conclusion on it, and probably they were just being curious on it. It's not something that they wanted to explore. They just had this curiosity on it, but then ulishamjudge. So mtoto anaona, mama alishasema mimi nafanyanga, acha nikafanya. You see? Then another subject that you would want to talk to your teenager about is drugs and substance abuse. How do you approach this? Number one, start early before they are exposed to these things. Talk to them about these things. Tell them, hey, by the way, there's this kind of drugs, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then be honest about the risks of using this drug, other than what they are taught in school. Because something that I have noticed in my career is that parents delegated the duty of talking about drugs to teachers and to school and to everyone else who's willing to educate their children on matters drugs other than themselves. So talk to your child about drugs and be honest about the risks. Be honest about how these drugs affect people's lives. Show them honest examples in the society that you live in. Mtoto wa fulani uliona alianza kutumia bangi, unaona kwenye maisha yake imeelekea. Do you want your life to go in that route? You know, have this kind of conversation, and then focus on reasons why your child should not explore drugs on them individually. Tell them about your family history. Be honest about addiction in your family. There's an addiction history in our family. I will not want you to explore drugs because addiction easily happens in our family. And then encourage help-seeking behavior. If your child has already started drugs, have approached the drugs factor to your child in a way that they can be open to you, they will tell you, by the way, mom, Mimi, I have explored alcohol, I have explored this thing, and I was introduced to it by so and so, or they may not even mention who introduced it to them, but then I'll help them get help if you feel that it has gotten to a point where they cannot suddenly stop, they cannot, you know, if they need help in navigating drugs. Yeah. Another factor that parents left out to the whole other society other than themselves, and as the African society, we barely, or our parents barely talk to us about sex and relationships. That is something that it will be the last thing that your parent will sit you down to talk about, and we should change that. So approach these things with empathy. Approach relationships or the sex, talking about sex to your teenager with empathy. Get to know why do you want to be in a relationship? Why do you want to start exploring sex at 15? And then after that, after they have talked to you about why they feel they are ready for a relationship. Discuss healthy relationship patterns and behaviors with your child, because who else do you expect will come and sit down your child and tell them these are the do's and don'ts in a relationship, these are the things that you should accept, these are the things that you do not accept, this is how you draw boundaries, this is, yeah. Who will talk about healthy relationship patterns and behaviors to your child if you don't? And again, how are you approaching this relationship thing? Keep that at the back of your mind. How you approach a teenager is everything. If you're coming from a genuine point of, and they pick on these things very easily, if you're coming from a genuine point of view, they will be open to you. But then if you're coming from the point of unataka kumgombanisha, that child will be there, they will be looking at you talking, and their mind is not there. Wewe ndio uko hapo tu unajongelesha umalize uende. And something else to talk about when it comes to sex and relationship is explore with them sexual health and safety. Talk to them about consent. Talk to them about boundaries. Talk to them about respect and respecting people's choices when it comes to sex and relationship. Another thing to talk about with your teenager is academics. So How are you approaching your child not doing well in school? How are you taking it, and how are you communicating how you are taking it with them? Very important. Help your child set realistic goals if you feel like they are failing. If they are failing in school, help them set realistic goals that will help them up their academic journey. Avoid comparing your child with other children in their class. How are you talking to this child? How are you talking to this teenager? Because that is how they shut you out or end up listening to you. And then emphasize on hard work and perseverance. Tell them that life is generally hard. In as much as we are out of school, aren't we? Isn't life a school itself? Tell them, it's not every day that we pass. Encourage your baby, encourage your teenager, and then also explore their interests and passion. What is your child interested in? Do you even know what your child wants to be when they grow up? Do you know how they are working towards achieving that goal? That being said, also discuss career paths with your child so that you can help them work on the subjects that are needed in that certain career that they want to pursue. The other thing that I should have probably started this video with is defiance and boundary pushing, which is very normal in teenagehood. And I think each and every one of us went through a certain period in our teenagehood where we were very defiant, where we pushed our parents' boundaries to the core. Hey, unamsukuma to the wall. You've pushed your parents until they're like, wow, huyu ni wangu kweli, which is very normal in teenagehood. This is someone who's just starting to know themselves. They want to explore everything, so they will be defiant. Understand that it is a normal behavior as a parent, as a guardian, and then work on setting clear boundaries and consequences with this specific teenager of yours. Tell them that this habit will not be tolerated in this house, and repeating of this habit will come with these consequences, and then push through with the consequences. If you show a teenager that I have laid down that these are consequences to behaviors in my house, and then you do not follow down with the consequences that you lay, they will just be doing it because they know at the end of the day, mom is not going to do anything about this. At the end of the day, I'm going to sneak out and come back at the time I want, and my parent will not do anything. So as a parent, make sure that in as much as you're understanding that defiance and boundary pushing is normal, you have laid down clear boundaries and consequences, and you follow through with whatever you say that you're going to do as a consequence to behaviors that will not be tolerated in your house. Something else to also note down when it comes to defiance and boundary pushing is open communication. Be curious on why your child is exploring that defiant behavior. Why are they suddenly sneaking out? And that is not how you raise them. Why are they suddenly wanting to try out drugs and there's no one else in your house who does drugs? Explore open communication with the child. And lastly, problem solve together. So you have been sneaking out of my house. What do you want to be the consequences of you sneaking out? Help them solve these problems, these defiant behaviors that they are up to together. And you do this with setting these boundaries with them. Lay a platform where they also lay consequences for themselves, that if I do this, I expect this to be done. I want my phone to be taken away. You can switch off Wi-Fi, you can change the password, I can be grounded, lay down these consequences together with your teenager. So that when you follow them through, you'll be reminding them that ni wewe ulisema when this happens, I should do this. And now I have done this because you did that. I cannot talk about navigating teenagehood without talking about social media, because this is the era that we are in. And you find that some of the things that have been done by teenagers online are not good, if we are to be honest as a society. So as a parent, explore the risks and benefits of social media with your child. Let them know that the internet does not forget. Whatever you choose to put out there will follow you for the rest of your life. Explore that risk with your child. And then also navigate strategies for online safety for your child. As a parent, you can probably have their accounts on your phone too, so that you can monitor who's talking to my child, what are they doing on there, what are they doing, what are the content that they are watching. Set parental guidance on their devices, that you can control everything that's been done by your child. In as much as you're giving them the chance to discover themselves and explore themselves, let them do this from a point of guidance. Yeah. And what is our takeaway from this video as I am wrapping up? It has ended up being so long, I didn't expect it to be this long. Number one is be approachable by showing genuine interest in their lives and in their concerns, and also in your demeanor. Just be approachable, and then stay calm and composed even when discussing difficult topics with your teenager. That way they learn that I can talk to my parent about anything and it will be taken from a positive point of view, and I will not be harshly judged. So that's also another thing. Avoid being judgmental. Also be consistent and follow through with consequences. That is very important. And then the last thing that I have emphasized thoroughly and I want to close the video with is effective communication is key to building trust and understanding with a teenager. There is no way you will build trust with this person if you're not effectively communicating what you expect from them, what you expect to be done, what they should expect from you. Yeah, so effectively communicate so that you can build trust, you can build understanding, and you can build a relationship where your teenager can talk to you about anything, and you can talk to them about anything on the factors, on things that they may be doing that are not pleasing you as a parent. That was it for this video. I hope that you have learned something when it comes to dealing with teenagers.